pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Egg Harbor City Common Council was provided in the following manner. Advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the Egg Harbor City Hall bulletin board. Advance written notice of this meeting was posted on the Egg Harbor City website. Advance written notice of this meeting was sent to the Hamilton Gazette, the News, and the AC Press and the Current. Roll call.
Mayor Geppetti. Here. Antonisi. Here. Brown. Here. Dash.
Here.
Heist.
Here.
Hesse.
Here.
Timbers.
Here.
Trifall.
Here.
Wright.
Here.
And Council President Ritchie will not be present tonight.
I need a motion to approve the minutes of September 22nd, 2022.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone in the public have any comment on any item in tonight's agenda? Only comments at this point are on the agenda. Anyone online? Okay, we'll move on. Mayor's report.
I guess, Angela, you'll give the update on American Water this evening. Yes. So we'll skip over that. The American Legion breakfast is Saturday at 8 o'clock. I hope everyone can attend and support our veterans. We also have the Fall Festival, sponsored by and organized by the Economic Development Corporation. That'll be at 2 p.m. on the 100 and 200 blocks of Philadelphia Avenue. A lot of people have been asking about trick or treat, and it's the same as it is every year. It's the 31st from 6 to 8. Also, a few things that are in the future. We're going to do the tree lighting on December 3rd at 6 o'clock. And the Christmas parade is being planned now for December 16th. And
What was that?
December 16th.
It's what?
Christmas parade.
The parade's 17th.
Saturday, I'm sorry, yeah. 17th. And Brenda Ruth will be organizing that along with Karen Adams, who is the member of the Economic Development Corporation. Also, tomorrow is our wrestling press release rollout. I think I told everybody the last meeting. It's at 10:30. If anyone would like to join, please feel free to come by. And last but not least, the Mayor's Wellness Program is, that will be, it's a statewide program where I'm sponsoring a scarecrow selfie contest on the main street. So you can get into a raffle to win if you send your selfie scarecrow to scarecrowselfies@gmail.com. And all that information is on the web. I think, did you put it on the website?
Not yet. It's on the.
It's on the the official Facebook page. And so if you come out to the Fall Festival, you can grab one and email it. It's a fun time for everybody. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Do any committee chairs have any reports to give? It's all yours.
Okay, correct. Excuse me, for a code report. Administrative duties, there was 40 of them. Certified mail code of compliance reports 15, in-person notifications 16, inspections 45, investigations 25, red cards issues 2, telephone email notifications 52, TV tags issued 7, zoning reviews conducted 29, for a total of 231 instances that code enforcement had to take some step action or not. That's all I have.
That's it. Anyone else?
As the public safety chair, I just want to say our public safety, they do a phenomenal job. Our police department is outstanding, led by a fantastic officer. There's been comments and stuff that I've been seeing. If you guys, if the public or anybody sees something, please say something. Call 911, call the police department. Okay, that's the only way we can help the police department out. If there's anything that's done outside in the community, the fire department, fantastic job, responding to a lot of calls and everything else. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I just have something as the head of parks and playgrounds. I guess it was last week or the week before, we had 5 or 6 employees from American Water come over to the Serpentine. What's it called? Spring Creek. I was gonna say spring or river. Creek's right in the middle. To the creek to clean out the creek. Those guys were in hip waders in the creek getting stuff out. They did a really good job, and I just wanted to publicly acknowledge them for coming over and spending, 8 hours. They're usually 8 hours up to their waist in water, but not dirty water. But anyway, just I wanted to acknowledge them and say thank you for doing that.
I had something for sustainable at the meeting that was held September 27th. There was ACUA litter challenge. It started October 1st. It went to the 15th, so there's a few days left. Anyone can get together, and it's up to 15 people. 15 people or less, and you'll get together and clean up the litter. And there's a first place, the second place, and a third place. This is all through the ACUA, so you can go to their website and sign up there. You'll get more information there. And there's also the strangers litter for $100. So there's only a couple more days left, so it goes to the 15th. And the shredding event is taking place in across from Saturday, November 5th, across from New York Avenue, White Horse Pike. And then the other thing that I have, that's all for sustainable and for Rotary, it's the Halloween parade, which is Friday, October 28th. There is no sign up required for it. So you just line up before 6 o'clock and the parade starts at 6:30. And it will be on Camp Street, right here by the City Hall. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
I just want to mention the shredding event is that if everybody recalls the old Catherine's. So if anybody has anything to, isn't the parking lot there? So if anybody has anything to shred, everybody's welcome.
All right. Chief, all yours.
Good evening, everyone. Just some stats for us. Crimes offenses that we've had since our last meeting on 9/22, 2 aggravated assaults, 6 burglaries, 1 sexual assault, 1 simple assault, 1 stolen motor vehicle, 12 thefts, 10 motor vehicle accidents, 12 pedestrian stops. We had a total of 47 citations issued, 1 DUI arrest, 23 arrests. We had 10 business alarms, 9 residential alarms, 201 crime prevention activities, 3 instances of criminal mischief, 5 domestic violence incidents, 34 EMS incidents, 10 firearms applications, 12 follow-ups, 681 property checks, and 30 public service calls. In terms of things that we've been up to otherwise, Cedar Creek had their fall festival on Friday, I forget the date, it was the Friday when the rain started. The Egg Harbor City Police Department, along with the Hamilton Township Police Department, did a hayride throughout the property. It was apparently a very big success. Principal Parker and the Honor Society advisor were thrilled with it. We were jamming all night long. And Chief Sambrone and Lieutenant Kerna have already started talking about ways to make it bigger and better for next year. We participated, as we always do, in Coffee with Cops at East Rag in the middle school. We were met with lots of smiles. We had a little bit of a basketball competition. I had a local student who always challenges me, and we went 5 for 5. I got sunk 1, he sunk 0. But that's always a good time. This year we were joined by the Atlanta County Prosecutor's Office, who's been spending a good time at the middle school. So it was a great time, and we look forward to that every year. We do not eat the donuts. We got to spend some time at the Moravian Church. We want to thank them. They had a first responder brunch on October 2nd. Our officers didn't get to spend as much time as they would have liked because they did have to respond to calls, but I know our fire department did come, and some other local EMS and police departments did come as well. So their, I think it is their Bible study or their youth study group. They were the ones who put that together, and it was a great time. Upcoming, Mary Jo Petty mentioned the Fall Festival, which is this Saturday, October 15th. The parking spots on the 200 blocks of Philadelphia Avenue will be blocked off early in the morning. So we would like to ask that everyone vacate those areas so that everyone that is setting up for the event can go ahead and do that without any obstacles. The road will actually shut down at noon so that everyone can set up from Philadelphia Avenue, on Philadelphia Avenue from the White Horse Pike to Beethoven Avenue. It will remain closed until 8 p.m. So please find alternate routes. Specifically, anybody who's going to Cedar Creek, they are having their open house this Saturday, as well as a hand football game. Go Pirates. Other big things for us in the Egg Harbor City Police Department, we are continuing building our relationships with the middle school and the schools. We will have 5 weeks of instruction that the Egg Harbor City Police Department will have officers going in doing lessons that are pre-approved curriculum on making life choices, dealing with stress, handling situations. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be followed by a ceremony here at City Hall on November 17th for the students who participated in that activity. Will be joined by the Egg Harbor City Police Department and the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office to recognize the work that they've done and the studies that they have participated in. Councilman Trifeld, thank you for mentioning, we've been taking a beating on social media. It's quite all right. You know what? I understand the frustration of residents. Having your stuff burglarized it's not fun. It's not cool. It doesn't, even if your vehicle is unlocked, which we strongly urge everybody to lock their vehicles, do not keep anything of value in your vehicle. It doesn't make it right for anybody to go in. We do rely on the public, and I know it is frustrating. Unfortunately, as great as cameras are, unless we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt who somebody is, we cannot charge or make an arrest. When we do, for theft from a vehicle, nobody's going to jail. You know, so if we make an arrest, if anybody does have any outstanding warrants, then we go to jail, but they'll be out soon. So, you know, I know that Councilman Dash also made comments about it's not about the police not doing what they're supposed to be doing or not taking, you know, not listening to what's going on. It has more to do with the criminal justice system in terms of bail reform and what people are actually being held for. So I understand the frustration. I welcome the feedback. If you know where something's going on, please do call us. The non-emergency number is 609-625-2700 extension 1. Please don't call our station. We are out on the road and it's frustrating to just get the auto prompt. So please call dispatch. That's the fastest way to get a hold of us. But you know, I welcome the positive comments and also the lamentations and the complaints. We want to know what's going on. You know, I look at it and even though I'm like, wait, that's not really what happened. I understand the frustration and we are here to listen and to serve you. So I just wanted to put that out there. And that's about all I have. And Mary, you will be getting your scarecrow selfie from us at PD because we're going to night eyes. But
Could you repeat that going on one more time?
it's 609-625-2700 extension 1. That is our dispatch. If you hear you've reached the township of Hamilton, don't be alarmed. Just push 1. Hamilton Township dispatches for us. That's the fastest way to get a hold of a live person who can call us on the radio and say, hey, this is what's going on. Same goes for public works issues. I've seen some posts about, oh, this is that. That's the best way to get a hold of them. And correct me if I'm wrong, Keith. Call dispatch. Dispatch has a direct line to our public works. So if there's a big old pothole, yeah, we'll see it on Facebook and be like, what? You know, we listen, tell us, please. So, you know, just use that number because it will get us, it'll get a hold of us. Leaving messages, it might take a little bit. If you leave the messages, it might take us a little bit to get back to you because if we're out on the road, we don't come back, we don't listen. And we want to address concerns as quickly as possible. Councilman Dash, I want to thank you. You recently provided us with the, I don't know what they're called.
That's all, folks.
The catch-all polls. I watched a very amusing body worn camera video. A resident called us. Apparently something was wrong with their cat. The cat was sick and was being very aggressive. And it was hilarious to watch the officers trying to corral this cat. But we were able to safely, without harming the cat, use the cat's-all hole to get the cat and so that we could get some medical treatment for it. Thank you, I appreciate that. That's all. Any questions?
And I did post that number on the website in the little form of the magnets that we used to hand out.
Yes.
If anyone forgets it, it's on the official Egg Harbor City Facebook page that has our seal on it. That's how you'll know it's our official.
And the only thing I wanted to know, you said you could get Public Works through that number as well?
Yes,
I
Public
didn't
Works.
realize that, that was only the.
No, absolutely. Public Works, unfortunately, they have Keith's cell phone number, so they can reach him at any time. So when there is an emergency, that's the best way to reach him any time of day.
Good to know, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, CFO report, Jody.
Just have, our best practices inventory. We have to discuss it, just required by the state. So have to, do this checklist every year. The state comes out with it. They change the questions a little bit. Each year, most of the time, a lot of the questions are repeat. And then we kind of throw in a new handful. There is, some unscored questions and then a scored section as well. Some of it, they just kind of like to get information from municipalities to see, either help maybe some laws are being implemented or just, to kind of figure out what's the best practice and things like that. So I did send this out to everyone. I'm going to share my screen. So rather than go through every single question, since it's quite voluminous, I'll just go through really, you need a minimum score of 24 to get your final full state aid payment. We had 32.5, so we're fine to get the full state aid payment. I'll just go over the questions that were no, which don't give you any points. The first one was whether you had adopted your budget within the state deadlines that they met. And I think we were waiting on some guidance on our funding. I think that's why we were introducing and adopting our budget. We weren't way behind the state schedule, but we were like a month behind it. So that was a no. Typically, that is a yes for us. Do our professional service, and again, I think both of these, I think almost all of these are duplicates that we've kind of had the same. Do your municipalities professional services contracts included not to exceed amount? I mean, I said no. Some of ours do, depending on the contract. Some are just hourly. So the state kind of always recommends. I think it's sometimes I think some of their stuff is so broad. There really should be a little bit more. The points for different types of explanations are different things. But if we were on the cost for close, it would be worth things are questioning. But so. The local government ethics law requires that the financial disclosure statements are filed annually. Did all governing body members file theirs on time? So we had 2 members that did not file timely. Another one is this actually this one is not new. Do we have any public charging stations on municipal property? So we don't yet. We actually are within. Talking about it quite a lot, actually. Ryan and Annette and I and Kim have kind of been really trying to get the ball rolling on this. So hopefully, if this is another question on next year's, we will hopefully be able to say yes by that point. And then when purchasing new vehicles, does your municipality have a formal policy to purchase hybrid or alternative fuel vehicles? So we don't have any kind of formal policy on that. It is something we want to try to start looking into. I know we've talked about for code enforcement, maybe doing it. We don't have a formal policy, so might be something we're looking into and kind of seeing what other towns. I'm not sure what the policy would be, but maybe it's just kind of like general about exploring and seeing if it works. It doesn't necessarily think you have to have one, so it might be a more general policy that's something we could adopt. And I think that was it. The rest of it's all either unscored, just informational, or they were answered yes. If anyone wants a copy or has more questions, just let me know.
Jody, I do have one question. Just best practices. Could you just explain it briefly to me? It's just to get funding, you're saying?
No, so the state requires that every municipality complete this every year. It came out, probably been close to 10 years, I guess, now that, I think there's a law that they have to like issue this every year. So, and if you don't score high enough, they can withhold, every municipality gets state aid every year. They can withhold a portion of your final state aid, like it's paid in installments throughout the year. They can withhold a portion if they don't feel that your score is high enough on the checklist. So,
Thank
yeah, and there's a whole, if you're, I can send you, there's like a local finance notice that,
I just needed to know.
Okay.
I think it's under governor
Thank
Christie,
you.
wasn't it?
you made it, yeah. So, yeah.
Who sets the best standards?
The Division of Local Government Services issues this. So I guess they're the ones who are designated to administer it, because they really kind of, the local finance or the Division of Local Government Services is really the ones that like kind of oversees all the municipalities. So I guess we were the ones who were kind of given that law. They were given that.
So those employees determine what the best practices are for the municipalities? Okay, thank you.
Is that it, Jay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Meg, city clerk?
I do have an add-on I'd like to bring up. We did have a liquor license transfer that the application was given to us a while back, but there was some research that had to be done on both, all ends, and the chief has signed off that there's no disqualifiers, that this license can't be transferred. It's the license from Luby's, which turned into Progress Bar and Grill, and they burned down, and it's been in a pocket, we call it a pocket when it has no house, no property it's situated at. So we do have a woman that is trying to purchase it, and the background has been done by the police department, and the chief's here, I received a letter yesterday, I guess it was, that there's no disqualifications, that they cannot have the license. So it still will remain in pocket. The person's husband does have a business in town, and I think they intend on opening a business to have a liquor license. It'll still remain in pocket, but it has been out there a while, so the guy comes in like daily to say, is it ready, is it ready? So I told him I would try to get it transferred tonight. So like I said, the steps are for the police to approve it, which has just happened. The next step is for council to confirm.
Does anyone have any questions?
I just have one question. I might miss. Did you say where she was going to use this at? Which was.
They haven't said yet. It'll be in a pocket. We call it pocket license. Like there's several in Egg Harbor that are kept in a pocket, but ultimately it is to have at a location, you know.
And then once they do open a location, then it transfers from a pocket.
Well, then they have to do
it.
another transfer, like it'll be a place-to-place transfer from the pocket to the location. But there are some, I mean, you don't have to let people do this, but it has been a process, a policy in town, we do, and people can, eventually open. These people have been trying to open, I won't say their name, but they have been trying to open a place, just been waiting for this transfer.
All right, anyone else have any questions? Does anyone see a problem with putting it on the agenda this evening? All right, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's a roll call, correct?
I'll do it, yeah.
Roll call.
Antonisi? Yes. Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Trithol?
Yes.
Right.
Anything else?
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. City attorney's report, Angela?
The only thing I had this evening is the update on New Jersey American Water. So we are negotiating very hot and very heavily with the USDA on the debt that's owed by the city. Ryan has been going back and forth with them for numerous weeks. And so now the mayor has sent out a letter to the USDA chief in New Jersey to set up a face-to-face meeting or a teams meeting, some kind of meeting with our group and their group to see how we can better negotiate this debt. So we anticipate that happening sometime in early November. And hopefully after that meeting, we will finally be able to get to a negotiated figure to then submit to the DCA. And once we're at the DCA, they have 30 days to review. And so we are moving along. It is a bit slow because the debt is large and the government wants every penny. And so we are trying to knock it down as best as we can. Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ryan, engineer's report?
Sure. So I actually have something I'm just hoping that we could act on this evening, which is a change order to finally close out the Chicago Avenue project, the 3-corner block. The contractor had been delinquent in getting his paperwork for months. And DOT finally reached out and said, you need to close this out or for your funding. So we called the contractor and said, if you want to get paid, you got to give us paperwork. Or, you never get paid. So we finally got everything. We finally got a signed change order and payment certificate for all of our retainage today. So I'd like to do both if possible. The change order was for $149,458.79. It's fully funded between the original grant and discretionary aid that we got. We were like 30,000 under on the original grant, and then they gave us an additional 120,000. So we were able to repay after the massive base failure, and it's fully covered by the state funding that we got. So that's really the only action item that I have. So let's go through
Does
I
anyone
just
have
have
any-
just a quick question.
Sure.
So what you're saying is the repairs to the 3-corner block, it's all being paid for by state aids, not the taxpayers of Egg City?
Correct. We applied for discretionary aid and literally didn't say anything for 9 months and then just sent us a letter.
Great.
So.
Great job.
Yeah, that was incredibly helpful. But yeah, so there was no additional funding to the whole project. We didn't fund it by DOT.
Perfect.
All
Thank
right, does anyone else have any questions? Seeing none, can we have a motion to approve that?
Make a motion. Second.
Roll call.
Antonisi? Yes. Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Trithol?
Yes.
Right.
The fiscal year 2021 and 2022 projects have been submitted. We're bidding them as a single project. They kind of have to be broken up in a goofy way, but they went to DOT review. They'll bid on October 24th, and we look to award it on November 10th. So they'll probably start that project at some point in February, March, depending, and then look to pave in the early spring. There's no way they're going to be able to get it open and closed up before asphalt plants close.
Right, this is Washington and
Yeah, so it's the 1 and 200 blocks of Washington and the 1 and 200 blocks of Chicago. Sure. Still no word yet on the 1 and 300 blocks of Liverpool. You guys already did bond for it, but we're waiting until we get the state aid to give you a proposal, just so we know exactly how much we have and how far we can go with our scope. Atlantic Avenue, the contractor back over there for the pedestrian path is resuming construction, putting inlets in. I finally heard back from Verizon today, and they said that they had called in for a mark out, and New Jersey Transit said that they needed an access permit. I explained that took forever when Atlantic Electric tried to do that, and eventually they just gave up and said, look, we're doing it anyway, we're not on your property. So I'm encouraging them to do the same, but we'll see how that goes. We already went through the Whipper thing. The solar, we got a revised proposal, 2 options. We just need to set up a meeting with finance and development to sort of go through a little legwork with Jody first to figure out, if the city financed it, what the cost would be. So we have a true comparison, but we should probably try to get that together. So you get a project, going to try to get spring. And then we have a meeting coming up. The county is working on the city park bridge, the one that goes between the lake out there. They've had a consultant working on that for years. And they ran into some issues with Pinelands. They reached out to me and I gave them a couple ideas and said, you really should meet with Pinelands. You gotta just sit down and hash it out with people. So they asked me to participate in that meeting. I think that's next week. So I just wanted everybody to know that that's happening.
Maybe me, I'll be on the other side.
Well, I'll be curious to see their detailed plan. But, last time they tried it was like 17 miles. So I don't know if they're going to try one, with the automated traffic lights to just do one travel in one direction each time. I believe that that's their plan, it's the viable plan, but we'll try to confirm that when I'm seeing the results.
I don't go out much.
Go out for a long time. But yeah, that's it for me, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions? Okay. Move on to number 13, motion to approve use of the Lincoln Park, the EHC Coalition for a Safe Community Annual Coat Drive on October 22nd, rain date October 23rd. Get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
A second. All in favor? Number 14, resolution to authorize refund of excess health insurance reimbursement. Jody, do you want to just give an explanation of this?
Sure. We have, a very small retiree group health plan for, some retired firemen and just a couple other, I think everyone left on there is a retired fireman. Anyway, they could also have their spouse on there as well. They would reimburse us for the spouse. So, Mrs. Reinhardt, Hope Reinhardt was on our plan even after her passed away. And unfortunately, she just passed away in September. So her daughter had been helping her pay her bills and she was always paying 2 months basically ahead. So we're just refunding her because
Great, thank
Make a
you.
motion.
Second. Roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
Number 15, a resolution for sewer credit refund of 353 London Avenue. Do we have any information on this?
I think it's in there was a plumbing problem which doubled her normal usage. They got the repairs and showed a bill that they got the repairs. The credit is for $90.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
Number 16, we need to approve the EHC towing contract for 2023. The towing companies would be Highway Towing and Recovery and Foreman's Auto Body.
Make a motion.
Second. Roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, number 17, resolution to authorize the state contract for carpets.
And I'm also, we're also, we talked about, just sorry to interrupt. I'm gonna update, I'll just make sure all our state contract stuff is current, but there's like an appendix that goes on it. I'll just double check, make sure if anything's been extended or changed since we did it earlier in the year, and then it's gonna add in for the carpet. Finally redo the carpet. We've been setting aside money for like 5 years.
No,
10 years.
10 years, every few years we lost her.
Well, we had a vendor who was gonna do it, and then unfortunately, they couldn't do prevailing wages, so we had to go to the next highest vendor, and that really was a decent amount more, so we kind of had to wait. Anyway, this will be through state contract. So I'll add that, and then also we had talked about FirstNet for moving our cell phones over to that FirstNet AT&T first responder. So we're gonna, I'll update the resolution for that as well.
We get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
It's nice to have the question, why did you buy this up? Was it a better price than the other?
It's a little bit cheaper, and plus their network is really, they have priority for like municipalities, first responders, things like that. So if there's any kind of emergency that you don't lose service, you don't go down. And we had some demo phones, I don't know if ourselves here, and they worked like a lot better in a lot of the areas where our current plan, they don't really get service now.
Thank you.
I didn't hear the second, I'm sorry. I got the first.
Brown.
Sorry.
Roll call. This roll call.
Antonisi? Yes. Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, number 18, resolution authorizing national Coop contract for our new fire truck. Any questions or comments?
Do you want to explain, Jody?
There's a Sourcewell, a national co-op, like purchasing that kind of all throughout the nation. We purchased other things from them. The most recent we did was the enterprise fleet services that we just did the last meeting for that. So they basically go out and solicit national purchasing contracts, so they have one for Pierce, which I believe is right, Pierce. So that's,
You get better prices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the experience in the co-ops with Houston and everything else, you get a better price and it went all out. So it's actually beneficial to the taxpayers of the city.
And a motion.
Second.
Right, and I apologize, I said Coop, it's co-op. I don't know a capital O on op. Sorry. Too much English in there. Can I get a roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse? Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
Number 19, resolution accepting the terms of the contract entered into by the South Jersey PC for natural gas.
Can I explain this?
Yeah.
We do a co-op, it's through, I think Camden County is the lead, and they go out and they do a bid basically for natural gas services. So, you know, and they don't award the contract if they don't project savings, so we've been in it for quite a while, we're obviously kind of smaller, we've been in our own supply of those kinds of things.
I'm making one. Second.
Roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
Right. Number 20, a resolution, non-fair and open contract for tree planting. You get an explanation on this?
So this is, when we went in the net, I think we talked about it, and we had like, I'm sure you probably saw ads and letters and things like that, when we were asking the residents if they wanted to replant a tree that was maybe taken up when we did one of the road reconstruction projects. We got a grant through, the community forestry program at the DEP. So it's a $30,000 grant, it should cover the cost of the planting and everything like that. So this is the contract. I solicited, if you don't formally bid anything over a pay to play, but under the bid threshold, you can solicit quotes. They just have to submit paperwork that they did not make political contributions. So this is the same vendor that did the last planting as well.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I have a question. Judy, so it's 27.2 and we have 30,000. Does that include the trees as well?
Yes.
It does.
Yeah.
So
So
there'll
that's
be
for,
work.
that's for the planting and the trees. and everything.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions or comments? Seeing none, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
All right, number 20, round one, a resolution, chapter 159, community energy planning grant. Get an explanation.
No, it's the next one, Sustainable Community Stewardship Grant, right?
Number 21.
21.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can explain them kind of both at the same time. I'll explain them both. So chapter 159 is basically to be able to spend a grant, you have to put it through the budget. So if you didn't know you were getting the grant at the time you adopted the budget, you do what's called a chapter 159. That was the chapter of the law and that's what was adopted. It just is it's basically a way to get the grant into your budget. So we had received this community energy, that's that $25,000, I don't know if anyone's seen it, that is that BPU had put out, and being a distressed municipality, we got 25, most of the grants were 10. And you're preparing a grant to basically align with the state's master plan for energy usage. So it's just a grant to create a plan, it's not for actually creating a plan, but this resolution is really just putting it through the budget. We've already gotten the grant. And the same thing for the second, for number 22, it's the same thing. That was the grant that we just got for the trail out in near the lake that Mike Sheridan has helped with. So we didn't know about it at the time we adopted the budget. So it's just putting those grants into the budget.
All right, can I get a motion for 21?
Motion.
Roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yeah.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
All right, number 22, resolution chapter 159, sustainable community stewardship grant. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Tricol?
Yes.
Right.
23, public hearing on ordinance 13, 2022, bond ordinance adoption. On ordinance. We open it to public hearing?
Second.
Anyone from the public have anything about the bond ordinance? Second. Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion to advertise notice of adoption.
I do roll call, but we can, you can say the advertising in the same statement.
Motion to advertise the notion of adoption in the Hamilton Gazette on October 19th, 2022. Can I get a roll call?
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yeah.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
Yes.
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Trithol?
Yes.
Right.
Right, number 24, public hearing, ordinance 1420, 2022. Does anyone from the public have anything about ordinance 14? Open, make a motion to open to the public.
Second.
Does anyone from the public have anything about this ordinance? Any questions, comments?
Make a motion to second.
Motion for salary ordinance update, motion for adoption, I'm sorry,
Make a motion.
And to advertise.
and a motion to advertise in the Hamilton Gazette on October 19th.
Second.
Could you just elaborate on this again, which salary? ordinance update is, please?
They were updating a couple of salaries,
It's not setting the actual salary, it creates a range to make sure whatever salary that
Okay,
is in the
one.
resolution fits within the ordinance.
And
And it's always, anytime there's a new contract, we always adopt it as well, so it's pretty much on every year, there's like.
I just needed to know which one.
amendments.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I understand.
All right,
So a motion to adopt,
a motion to adopt,
you, a motion, second?
Second.
I'm sorry.
a motion to advertise,
Make a motion. Second.
roll call,
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
yes,
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Trithol?
Yes.
Right.
number 25, motion to adopt the bill list,
Make a motion.
Second.
roll call,
Antonisi?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Dash?
Yes.
Heist?
yes,
Hesse?
Yes.
Timbers?
Yes.
Trithol?
Yes.
Right.
number 26. Mayor, do you have any comments?
Yeah, one thing I did forget to bring up, well, actually, Councilwoman has to remind me that one of the programs that I'm trying to finish is the Mayor's Wellness Walk, with the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, the same as scarecrows and the holiday home lighting, you know. But unfortunately, we have signs up around the walk that were placed probably months ago, and now they're being stolen, knocked down. There's one on Chicago Avenue by the Crusaders.
Like
Field,
you're at, yeah.
and now there's one on Havana and Camp.
Yes, but then it can't.
I have the one on Havana and Camp. I gotta
So-
go back in.
Okay.
It's a shame that, you know, we don't really have vandalism like this that I can recall, you know, but, and there's a lot of sign damage, you know, is going on, so it's just sad that this is happening, in our community. So if you see anything, you can, you know, it would helpful if you could report it.
Can I just add that today? Meg called me today or emailed me today about a missing sign. I went out there. It looks like 3 or 4 signs I gotta go back through at the north are snapped off.
Yeah.
So you can see the green piece folded in, but the top's snapped off. So I gotta go through there and get a list too as well, all along Philadelphia Avenue. So,
And also, I think we're missing a sign on, Liverpool and Atlantic. There's no street sign there at all.
okay.
Same kind of thing, that's what the
Yeah.
resident called.
Yeah.
Signs.
Yeah. So, just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hesse, any comments?
No, I don't, just, hope to see everyone out, out on Saturday. Looks like it's going to be a fun time. And, we're looking forward to the, parade as well. It's coming up on the 28th, so I won't see you until then. So have a great Halloween, folks. Take care. That's it.
Councilman Trumbull, anything?
Well, first of all, I'd like to, thank Chief Kinsley, and the committee for putting together something that's going to serve the community for a long time. If it's any attribute to them, truck running for 32 years, and I didn't realize it was that old. It looks that good. So also, to the police department, thank you, Chief, doing a heck of a job. Also, just I don't know if we've applied for attempting to the South Jersey grant. Okay, I was doing mine today, and it's also open to the police department too. So just making sure everybody knows that. It's for first responders. South Jersey gives out.
I did share it.
Oh, we
Yeah.
got the American Wood one last year.
I just shared with the chief and the mayor and Jody.
Councilman Timbers. Councilwoman Brown. Councilwoman Anthony's.
I'm sure everybody's gonna touch on this too, but we got trick or treat coming up, October 22nd. And we're gonna have a movie night out there. We're gonna watch Hocus Pocus, and then to start the game today, we're gonna have games out there too. So it's a beautiful day at the field. So come join us, bring the kids, and have a good time.
Is it?
What's the date?
October 22nd.
Councilman Wright.
Yeah, pretty much. Friday night's gonna be, to start it off, the Crusaders homecoming. We do need to apply for a fire permit. And if I can get that container from you guys. And if we can get some pallets, hopefully we'll do a bonfire again this year, try to bring it back. We haven't did it in a couple of years.
Do you want us to email you? Fire?
Yeah, if you could. And then like Casey said, Saturday morning, I believe we want to do something for Mr. Winberg too, correct?
I haven't heard anything. I mean, I know they talked about it, but. I haven't
Yeah,
heard
because that's our last
anything.
game, so I know they said they want to do something, but the games are gonna be at 10 o'clock in the morning and 11:30. There's only 2 games that day because Galloway only has a varsity and a few. There'll be no tax or JV that day.
And that's the 22nd.
The 22nd, yeah. And then following that will be the trunk or treat and the movie night. So, Chief. Maybe last movie night went smoothly.
And what date's that?
22nd.
22nd,
Oh,
everything's
everything's
22nd. Yep. So hopefully everything goes.
And trunk, the trunk or treat.
Just trunk or
Yeah.
treat. After lunch.
Yeah, we're gonna charge
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna charge the, kids $5 and then all the local businesses will be out there decorating their trucks and stuff like that. Kids can go, go from truck to truck or car to car or whatever like that.
Do you need any donations?
We take anything. We never turn it, a donation.
Water, juice boxes,
Yeah,
bags of
anything.
candy.
Yeah, we're going, no, not one.
We're doing the road on
Yeah.
the side.
Okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you go on that field, you'll never get old. But,
Anything else?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Dash.
Yes, last council meeting, I thank the police department for responding to my house for burglar alarm. Very much appreciated. But tonight I would actually like to thank Egg Harbor City Fire Department. Earlier this week, 5 o'clock in the morning, my canine dog woke me up and alerted me that there was a smoke detector going off at my neighbor's house. I got dressed, I went outside into the alley. After investigating, I determined that it was the detection was going off in the neighbor's garage. Called 911, fire department arrived. I believe it was the chief that came out. Fortunately for everyone, it was a smoke detector that was going off fully, but it was in a trash can next to the garage. So he was able to disable it and we were able to get back to bed. But again, that was like 5:15 in the morning. So chief, thank you very much for coming out. I appreciate it. And just remind everyone when those envelopes come out, make sure to make your donations to the fire department.
Change your batteries.
Change
Yeah, change your batteries.
Yeah.
And you might also want to mention that if someone needs a smoke detector, I believe we do have to supply it.
We don't have a ton,
Ten-
but
10
we
years.
have some.
Because we had Candace with the Red Cross and they always give us extra fire detectors, so if you need any,
I think we don't have a ton.
I think what you have some.
Oh, maybe for
We have a few, yeah. I wouldn't say
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
All right, I don't have anything, so we can open the meeting up to public comment. Make a motion, anybody? We have to make a motion to open the public.
Anybody from the public?
Anyone from the public have any comment? If you do so, please come up to the podium, state your name and your address.
Mark Gorman, 336 Washington. For the last 6 years, I've been waiting for Ryan to correct the problem in my alley of water ungodly running through my property because this construction of the alley. Mr. Lamp is here. His mother gets 7, 6, 7, 8 inches of water in her backyard every time I visit. I paid out of my pocket for this, which he asked me to get in the beginning, that I should have paid for because they were 3 inches over my garage in the alley. I put new door rubbers on the bottom of the garage doors. I put dirt in the alley. I put dirt along the feet. I put stone. I put edging. It's all there. Still taking on water. I'm the only house on Washington Avenue that has probably, I don't know, 5 shovelfuls of dirt in the road that washes through the field. 5 months ago, he told me it was paid for, they're coming to put the curb in, or whatever. Now, if we put a curb in, then he doesn't want to lose access to the back of his mom's yard. I don't want to lose access, and I think it's only going to create a bigger problem. So I want to know what they're going to do.
So we authorized the contractor who was working on St. Louis and 6th Terrace in April to do an asphalt curb going back, as Mr. Warren mentioned. I've reached out to the contractor since we authorized it in April, May, July, and August. Each time asking when they would be out. And essentially every response I got was, we're too busy, we should be able to get to the fall, we're too busy, we should be able to get to the fall. I haven't called him in the last month or so. But we have, like I said, we authorize it, we provide the contractor. It's just been trying to get them out there.
Well, after we figured it up, I don't think that a curb is going to work like that. Because if the water, if you come down 4 inches and you drop it to 2 inches at my driveway to get in and out of my garage, if the water gets heavier, that's just going to create another funnel. I mean, you could come by there anytime and see where the water flows. It goes right through.
So
I just dug I have a flower bed on the side, 2 stones high. The second stone was in the ground. I just dug them out.
Ryan, why did they make that mistake?
So I'm not going to give it it's a mistake. We needed to correct the geometry of the road. The terrace was super elevated at like 6 or 7%, which means that one side was way higher than the other side. This is of the terrace. So we went to reconstruct it. You're not allowed to do that. We're using state aid funding. You have to be between 1.5% and 2% cross slope ideally. Some exceptions, in certain instances. But you cannot keep the road super elevated. So we had to drop one side a whole bunch and raise the other side a whole bunch. I mean, there's not a lot of room to do that. Terraces are only 18, 20 feet wide. So, I mean, I think we raised your side and we looked at it was just less than a foot, it was like 9 inches, 10 inches.
18 inches in her backyard.
I remember we looked at the
We
plans.
measured the yard when the dirt was there before they paved. I tried to stop it and Dennis came out and said, I'll put something in here and restrict you from using the backyard. His exact word.
We surveyed.
President, last year's president, Bob Ross, he was out. It was pouring. He just put his head down. He says, how? He put his head down. Before that, Angela, he was out. It was raining. He was out with Bob Ross.
That's
Put
what we
his
talked about
head
the
down.
asphalt curb.
But I think the curb is not gonna work. Actually, Mr. Lampkin goes in and out of the backyard to trim shrubs, do all kinds of stuff. So now you have to drive over a 4-inch curb. And if you drop it 4 inches to 2 inches, if the water's heavy, it's just gonna come inside the 4-inch curb on my side. So when it happened, I had a laser in the road, called them up. I said, look, you're 3 inches over top of my garage. It wouldn't do nothing. All the properties on the left side of the road, on the Philadelphia Avenue side, their yards are this high. All the properties on this side, the yards are even with the road. But our two properties are mainly the main source of the water.
Is there any way they can put some kind of a tube underneath to redirect it to a
I mean, you could put an inlet, but you'd have to discharge it somewhere. You have to have a
Right, is there
somewhere
anywhere
to
that?
go.
Could it go
No, I
to
mean,
the-
the natural
One of
slope.
the
Can't go
streams?
through the field.
Yeah,
See, I think the engineering of the road, from what I understand, because I talked to the guys that were doing it, I know some of the guys. The road was supposed to tip the other way until it got to the end of the alley, then it was supposed to tip slowly to go to the drain.
what it does, once it gets to the end of the street, when it meets the intersection, that's.
So it
where
does, because
goes
it
for
comes
the
down
flushing.
our side of the alley, like.
Yeah,
You
it's-
have to go out there when it's raining, you'll do like everybody else, you shake your head, and it's just.
The
But
terrace-
I've spent a lot of money. I had to spend out of my pocket $1,500 to put concrete back there that did not work. That he designed in his office. And I see him putting, who owns the corner of St. Louis and Berger, who owns that corner? They just did the road there. They replaced 3 times the amount of concrete sidewalk than I have in my back here.
There's
And
gotta be something else wrong.
that's right from the,
Well, that's, I mean, we met numerous times, I mean, going back a couple of years now.
we're going back 6
The
years.
asphalt
6
curb.
years I've been trying to resolve this. And like I said, when it rains, you go out front, look out front, go over the curb. It just comes down the field,
What block is it?
300 block,
300. How close?
336.
Yeah, I
No,
mean, the natural flow path is sort of between his yard and the neighbor's yard. It's coming from, the other side of the terrace is higher, and it's trying to come that way. I mean, there's a high point, like 150 or 100 and.
yeah, but it doesn't
200
start
feet.
there. It starts at the telephone pole by the parking lot of the church.
Well, that's, I mean, there's a high point, like, it's not like there's like 4 or 5 blocks cascading down, there's a high point a couple of
Right.
100 feet away.
It comes through, it moves stones like that. Washes them right out of the thing, right in on the concrete all over. And like I said, I have another bill from Pro Door in Hamilton. They got me extra heavy duty rubber to close, set the door so I don't get water in the garage. You can ride down the alley, I had put in bordering. It keeps getting run over by the trash truck. There's nothing, I put concrete, I put piles of dirt. Don't stop it. Now, if you go by now, you see I just dug out all the stones. The first stone was under the ground because of the water that runs to the village. So I think something more drastic than a curb has to be done.
Well, that's, again, that's why we came up with the asphalt curb. That seemed like it was gonna be the most cost effective solution that was
6 years.
keep the water moving. Well, I mean, again, we did authorize them in April, so it's not like I haven't to do it. We tried to get them to start the work in the spring. And if they can't do it at this point, just tell them, you just find another contractor. We have a couple of-
Well, the thing is,
I
that
think
what they're
that's-
saying is it's not going to work.
I don't think it'll
So,
work. If anybody
is there-
comes out there, I'll show them. They're planning on coming down and putting a 4-inch curb. When they get to my slab, they want to go down to 2 inches.
Right.
And they want to go 4 inches. He won't be able to get in the backyard. He does she's 99. He does the trimming, he does the leaves, he does. So if you make it 2.5 inches at mine and it's coming down really heavy, it's just gonna cut right inside.
Well,
And then go
you-
back in her yard when it goes up the corner.
Yeah, so I don't think we're planning on going all the way up to the
It's-
corner.
Well, you mentioned cost effective. What would be another option that may not be so cost effective? Because if I was living there or whatever, I would be happy.
So, I mean, you can install inlets and piping, but underground piping is around like $50 a foot. An inlet is $4,000 to $5,000. At minimum, you would need 2 inlets and probably 300 to 400 feet of pipe.
How much is that?
So you're $30,000 to $40,000 in structures plus restorations, $50,000 to $60,000. I mean, that's why we typically try to make things work with grading. Like I said, we started with something that was substandard and we could not go back with that. We tried to balance it out. We tried to cut the one side of the road. I mean, your neighbors, it comes down off their yard probably 14 or 15 inches.
I measured it. He was there.
Well,
I
that's what I
measured
mean.
it for the 2x4.
That other
And
side
this
is
is
that much
Lampkin.
higher.
When I used to cut
that
Mrs.
side as much as
Lampkin's
we
grass,
could.
I would drive out of the yard, right onto the road. Now there's an 18-inch slope, and I measured it when the dirt was there before they paved. You know, you were out there, so hey.
Their yard has always been lower based on our survey. It was lower than the road before we got it. We raised the road, from what I remember, somewhere between 9 and 10 inches. I know the yard is 18 inches lower, but it didn't, we only brought it up that far. I
Well,
mean,
at this point in time, I don't, obviously, we try to be frugal with
Sure.
our money, but I don't think price is a factor at this point. in
Well,
time.
another
I
thing
think-
that comes into play that isn't really their fault, but the alley is, I don't know, what is it, 2 feet over the front street, over Washington. So you already have the field, and it goes from here to Washington. So when that water hits there,
yeah, well,
that's where it goes.
that's what I was trying to say, that the natural flow path is sort of right between your yards. We're trying to get it to hold on the shoulder and get it down the corner and around. So it's trying to go one place and we're trying to redirect it.
I don't think the
Now,
church
nothing-
will allow you, they don't want nobody to plow through there and do, because I've asked them before, could I dig a big hole, put snow? They said, we don't want to interrupt it, it's our parking lot.
Excuse me, I don't think it's a big enough area for a retention pond or anything like that, but how about something, they have it that perks into the ground, but if it's
Like a
too.
French drainers.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the volume. I mean, the volume of water that he's describing, you can put it inlet and just let it fill up, but, if I take a couple buckets out of the ocean, I'm not gonna do
I mean,
that.
there's sewer pipes in there, there's
That's what I'm
sewer in
saying.
the alley, we got gas in
The
the
whole
alley.
thing is.
Yeah, well, that's,
There's
we've
so
only
many
got
things
30
in
feet
the
of right.
alley.
Very little area.
Unfortunately, that gas
Somebody
goes right
called
down
gas
that
pipe
pipe.
sewer.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. We need to figure out with American Water, because if we're gonna not be frugal and we're gonna fix it, and then they're gonna come in and tear it up because they're going to replace that in their infrastructure with what they're replacing, then we're basically gonna wind up right back where we are at this point. So I don't know, do you know if they have a plan yet of where they're starting, how they're starting?
Yeah, they're still figuring out where their, sort of 5-year plan is. I don't think they've outlaid it yet. I mean, we can ask to see at least if it's in the first group.
Right, because before we turn around and we put all this money out, because that's where they're gonna replace old piping.
On the restoration side.
Right, so they're gonna tear up your alley to replace that piping.
I think that was done. I think they did that. Didn't they fix all that? Then when they hit that box?
We did a small, very short section up to that box where we found that old tie-in, the old galvanized line.
Right.
And then we replaced the valve at the top of it.
Do you know what
But we
the
didn't-
size of the main is on the terrace?
It's either 4 or 6.
All right,
It's
so
not big.
they'll be high on their list, even
Right.
less than 6 is on their list.
Well, maybe could you reach out to them, Ryan, and find out,
Yeah.
call me and let me know?
Yeah.
And then if that's not on their
I mean,
priority list, then.
We've been called back and forth for 6 years. Every time they call, he answers the phone, but it's just not,
Yeah, I want to help you. I'm
it's,
not-
nothing's going,
The point is, this has to be fixed right away. I mean, I wouldn't want to live like that, and that's how I always base my decisions on, what would.
I mean, it's not
what would
every
you want.
rain. If we get a little rain, it's okay. The
No.
rain we had the other day, yeah, you gotta go, I gotta wear boots in the back. And I mean, when Ross was out there, he was parked down this end. I walked in, this is Landry's room, and it was 7 inches. And that's through the yard, and they've already replaced windows and everything because of moisture in the yard. So,
All right, well, thanks for coming out.
yeah, all right, well, keep me informed, let me know.
On it.
All right.
If they're not gonna do it, we'll explore another option that may be more suitable to.
And if they say they are, see if they can make it a priority so that we can.
Well, that's, yeah, if
Take
there's
care of
something they can't do
this.
the next month, they still have other people on contracts. So prices to move forward with somebody else.
But I wouldn't do the curb.
I just had one question. You said if the curb was too high, you couldn't get in, right? It would work otherwise, or no?
No, a 4-inch curb and dropping it 2 inches to get into my garage. See, this is what's in the back right now. This is what I had to pay for when they first did it.
I just thought.
So I didn't have to take on water in my, and I paid Jaime to come in. And it was $1,500. I shouldn't have paid a dime, but I had a lot of stuff in my closet. So now, this worked a little bit. This is this way. So the water comes down Washington and washes into the garage. It's 3 inches from there down to here, and then 3 inches up and goes out here.
Right.
But as it washes, then I have a parking area here. It goes down to the, and this is Landry Yard, it goes in here over, you could go right now, pine needles are piled all over that corner of that road. And it comes in from
trying to get off the
here.
road.
That goes down. That's what I just told my students out.
Yeah.
Here for a little graph in a second.
Yeah, there's so much things. There's so much.
Hopefully if there's just more right there.
Yeah,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How big's your garage?
24 by 20, 24 by 24?
Is it stick built or what?
Stick built.
Stick built.
Yeah.
Concrete
Stick
inside?
built, concrete inside.
Okay.
You know, then like I said, it was 3 inches. I was in the union, you know, I did all kinds of stuff. I put a laser in the street and they came out. I showed them. It was 3 inches over my slab. I was taking wood. That's why I went to Hamilton, bought new. They ordered me new, you know, rubber.
Would it be more cost effective to raise this garage?
More so than.
I'm all rotten, done. My floor's epoxy. No, it would be, yeah.
We have to figure out some way, but like I said, we need to figure out what they're gonna do before we spend all the time and the money doing it, and then they come out and say, oh, we're gonna do that first, and then tear it all up again.
I mean, even if you raise the garage, then you got to 3 inches of concrete, you gotta lift everything up.
Yeah, they never stop these.
Right, down the street is Ann Timpson, remember the same
She had the
issue?
same problem.
Walk
We had
down.
to dig it, what did we do, Keith? We dug a trench around that thing or something, remember
Well,
Annie?
Right here.
She has a wetlands area like
Oh, yeah.
across the street from her, and that would overflow and sort of go towards her property. Again, natural flow path was across her property. So when that wetland overflowed, it was trying to go there. Yeah, Keith was ordered to sort of reshape it and give it a lower path to get down to the intersection. But, you know, that's all you can do is water's gonna seek its own level. You have to either give it a lower path or build something up and force it around. There's no option.
This is Richard.
Yeah.
This is-
Sand fence over here.
I'm Richard Lampkin, and my mother's property is the one next to his. Having grown up at 346 Washington Avenue, the alleyway never flooded our backyard until this had happened. And I guess there's some engineering reason why it had to be raised. But in that, if it was just left alone and just resurfaced, everything would be fine. But because of raising the road is what caused the problem. And so it seems to me when there has to be a reason to raise the road and then cause another problem, somebody needs to look at the reason why we're raising the road. It didn't serve a purpose. In fact, it created more of a problem as a result. To me, the only way you're going to be able to solve the problem, because we have to have access to the backyard. To go over a 4-inch curb is going to be impossible.
And down an 18-inch slope there.
And then down 18 inches. And when I talked to the engineer before out there, when they first did it, everything was washing away. Well, let's get the grass planted, let that take hold, and then it'll keep from washing the dirt away. Well, eventually that happened after about 2 or 3 years. The only way that the problem is going to be solved is containing the water before it gets to Mark's property. Either that, or yes, a 4-inch curb and let it run down. So if you were to contain the water prior to his property through a drain, and then pipe it to the lowest place and let it come out, then it's going to go past his property, past my property, and then be able to wash down to the end of what's that, Beethoven, and then around the corner to the drain.
Will that go to somebody else's property now? Now you're moving it down to somebody else's property?
No,
So
well, the road's
this is
there.
all-
Well, yeah, the water's getting there anyway. It's just right now it's going across his yard to settle around. So,
But the water has to be contained prior to Mark's property. Otherwise, you're just dealing with trying to move it on down the road. And the only way to do that is with a 4-inch, curb
yes, something to retain it and hold it on the edge of the road.
to get it down to that other point. And so to me, the only way it can do it is just to contain it, pipe it, and then let it come out to the lowest point to be able to continue on as it would normally have to do anything.
Yeah, a lot of times for something like this, you have enough fall, by the end of the street, it's a couple feet lower.
Yeah.
At Beethoven, so somewhere like this, you do a bubbler system, where you just have one down there and one up here. You let it go in this one and bubble out that one and continue around the corner.
Well, that's another thing, that alley goes like this. So when it comes down, it comes down.
Yeah.
I guess I would-
One of the steeper places in town.
Not to take your time at this point, but I would like to understand why, from the original height of that alley, why it had to be raised almost 18 inches.
So we, again, my recollection, I haven't looked at plans in years now. But from what I remember, we raised the road a maximum of 9 to 10 inches on one side. We cut it on the other side more than a foot from what I recall. The road had a steep cross slope. The whole thing was super elevated. So it was about 7 degrees from one side to the other, 7-degree pitch across the road. You're not allowed to do that for traffic safety reasons. We were rebuilding the road with state aid funds. Anytime you're outside of the 1.5 to 2% cross slope window, with having a crown in the middle and slope both directions, you need a design exception. You have to certify that it's going to be okay. All these other things. So we try to hold to that 1.5 to 2% guidance as much as possible. So in order to reshape it from here, we kind of had to raise this one up and drop this one down, so we can get a traditional road, slope with a cross slope with a crown in the middle. I'll be honest with you, as we were looking at it on paper, you're only 150, 200 feet from a high point. We were adding a crown. We kind of figured all the water coming from the opposite side would stay on that side of the crown, make it down to the intersection. And there would not be that much water accumulating from the only 100 or 200 feet of roadway upstream.
But anybody that, when they were doing this construction of that road, anyone with any common sense would see that it's not going to work. Because you have from the crown of the road to our side, I don't know what the difference is, but the water has to run that way.
You were at 5590 at the road, and we're at 5614 at the corner of my garage.
That's a proposed.
Well, it's on the telephone pole in Magic Marker. They wrote it all on all the poles.
Yeah, but we still have the original design plans. I guess pull up our original survey.
And it has the pole number right here, it's at 5693.
I mean,
Why is it
Pretty
like
much
this?
flat.
we
It
have.
was pretty much flat before.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we only raised it 9 to 10 inches from what I recall. I look back at the plans. Again, I've looked at these in multiple.
I've been there 24 years, 6 years I've been getting water.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I don't.
the
not
point of
believe
the
it.
point of the matter is, if code or whatever you call it says you have to do this type of thing with the road, well, first I think you need to look at it. If we do this, is it
What
going
the-
to
what
cause
the
another
outcome is.
problem?
Well, again, so installing a cross slope in an area where it would have been super elevated previously, we're looking at it as all of the water from the other side, which is higher than your properties.
Right.
Would stay on that side of the terrace. So we figured, okay, everything's super elevated to your side now. We're gonna cut off half of the water that's coming to them. And then we're gonna raise the shoulder a bit, and they're only gonna have 150 feet of road upstream. So we kind of figured it's gonna be a little bit higher, but there should be a lot less water. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the source of the water is, like where it should be coming from. The road is crowned, whatever falls on the other side should be staying on the other side.
But like I said, everybody on that side
I'm
of the
not
alley,
arguing that it's happening. It's definitely happening.
everybody on that side of the alley from the church is at least 8 to 10 inches up to go in their yard.
Yeah.
And some more. So I would think that somebody screwed up and that road should pitch that way because it won't go in their yards. When it gets down the alley, you tip it so it goes down to the drain.
In order to make it pitch that way, we would have had to cut their yard like 2.5 feet.
Because why? You added dirt to the road.
Yeah, no. On their side, we cut them. On your side, we filled them.
Well, don't come down that road, that side like that.
Oh.
I've been there long, I've been there 6 years watching it. I have pictures of every time.
We can revisit it in person.
All right.
I don't know what else.
Thanks. Let's see what happens.
Mr. Lampkin, I do have to tell you, I go to the Moravian Church and your parents are two of the most nicest, amazing people in the world. Your dad was the reason that my husband wanted to join the Moravian Church. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm blessed to have great parents and taking care of almost a 100-year-old mother. Thank you.
Anyone else have any public comment? Seeing none, make me the motion to
I got
adjourn.
trial, second.
Second. All in favor?
Yeah.